Okay. We are, what airport is this, Mario?
Reno.
Reno. Is it Reno or is it Lake Tahoe? I mean, it's Reno, right?
Reno,
Because you
yeah.
drive up to Lake Tahoe. Okay. All right. How you doing? All right, let's see who we got here. Little K3. Hello, how are you? Ryan, Doug, Jane. Hey, Pat, how you doing? Got other people joining. Okay, I am at Reno Airport, Nevada. We have a little bit of a delay here. They're saying the plane's going to show up. And I got some time to do some, say hello to some of you. And I miss you guys. I haven't been live for some time. I was doing my Sunday Night Live. But we got people from Hamburg. Okay, anybody else? Where are you from? We got Anna Sofia from Orange County, Jersey. Jose Alvarez. Albert Presario. I'm going to see you tomorrow. We are stuck here, Albert, at the airport in Reno, but no worries, we will be there tomorrow, so we can't wait to be there with you guys. Love the Alex Jones interview and the way you ask questions. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm here. I probably have like a 30-minute window to go through some questions. Arash, Berim dige. Me and you, me, you and Nima, let's get on a flight with Mario and Berim Esfahan. Berim Esfahan, Gardesh. David, can't wait to see you either. We got El Paso, Vacaville, Houston. You're an unbelievable inspiration. I appreciate that. Thank you. We got a lot of love tonight. Brazil's in the house. Brazil. Okay. So, look, I got 30 minutes. I was going to go live on Twitter or Facebook, and I said I'm going to go live on Instagram. So, whatever questions you want to ask about business, about life, if you want to have a short therapy session here, entrepreneur therapy with Dr. Bet David, I am here at your service tonight for some questions. We just had a great session here at Reno, strategy session with, what would you say, about 60 people, 70 people in that room. We started off early in the morning at 7 o'clock, and we finished up at 3 in the afternoon today, and now we're heading back to LA for some business. And then I head back tomorrow night. Mario, red-eye flight tomorrow?
Yes, midnight.
Tomorrow's midnight? Is it really midnight tomorrow night?
Midnight.
By the way, everybody, say hello to Mario.
What's going on, everybody?
All right. Okay,
Hello, hello.
Bunch of love. People love Mario. Look
Love you
at all
too.
the
Love you
love
too.
Mario's getting. Oh my gosh.
I think those are for you. I don't know if they're, I mean, 50-50.
No, man. All those, that rainbow love is all you. Okay, any tips on podcast lunch timelines? Any tips on podcast lunch timelines? What do you mean by that when you say podcast launch timelines? First, you have to have your idea and then just kick it off and go with it. But is it a specific podcast? Maybe give me a little bit more information on what you mean by that question. How do you balance business and life? I've done that before. Oh, you know who says hi? Vanessa from Home Office says hi too. She says,
Vanessa.
Hey, Mario. Vanessa, I don't know if you heard him. He said, hola. So, yo, Mario. Everybody's giving Mario love. Look at all this commentary
love you
below.
guys.
Man, Greece is giving you love. Is that Giannis from Greece? Did you end up putting all those posters all over Greece or no?
Revolucion.
Revolucion. Okay. Who was your mentor role model? Who was my mentor role model? When you think about me talking about growing, building a business, who do you think I said as a mentor role model?
A lot of them are dead.
A lot of them are dead. I'd say a lot of them are dead. Unfortunately, that's like a mortal, answer. But it's probably true. But and people that impacted my life, the list is a long list. My father would be at the top of the list, though. How did you start thinking bigger? Eric Morales. We talked about it today in a meeting where I said there's different ways people run their businesses. And the way people run their businesses on different elements. Some people run their businesses based on, deadlines. They're great with deadlines. Some people are very competitive, but if there's no competition, they just don't compete. So their numbers are all based on there being competition. Some people are business owners, which means they show up no matter what. If market's good, they'll show up. If market's bad, they'll show up. They'll show up 6 days a week to build their business. And then you have a deadline business, and then you have the big thinker. And a big thinker is somebody that just doesn't slow down because they think bigger than everybody else. And so you ask the question saying how you think big. It first starts off with, I did a video on it specifically on how to think big as an entrepreneur. It's very detailed and specific. The biggest question one must answer is who you want to be. If I spoke on that topic tonight with you, I don't think many people have any clue who they want to be in life. And I'm being dead serious with them. Most people have no clue who they want to be. They're just trying to do what other people are doing, and they're catching up to them rather than trying to ask the questions of who they want to be. Once that thing got clear for me of who I wanted to be, everything became simpler. And then the vision for me was a bigger vision because I wasn't driven. I was competing with some guys who wanted to be motivational speakers. I have zero desire to be a motivational speaker. Like literally, it's last on my list. I don't want to be a motivational speaker. We had some people that want to be celebrities, like they wanted to be hanging out with celebrities and hanging, you know, oh my gosh, I smoke a cigar with such and such person. That doesn't do it for me either. And then there was some people that want to be rich. Great, that's phenomenal. Money's a very important thing. What I was driven by was, you know, history. That's what drives me. It's not everybody, but that's what drives me. So gradually, as you start making money and you have breathing room, you're no longer stressed out about paying your bills or all the stresses that you have. You finally have a chance to sit down and take a break and realize what you want to do with your life. And that's when you can start really thinking. That's when you can start really thinking bigger, because you don't have all this other mess that's holding you back. How did laws of success change your life? It gave me a formula on how to think. Big ups from Caribbean. Man, I get Caribbean messages all the time. Is 120 a week good for a 13-year-old? For a 13-year-old? 13 years old, I was in what? 7th grade, 8th grade, $130? Of course it's good. It's not bad. I mean, there's people that are doing more, but it's not bad. At $130 a week that you're not getting the money from your mom and dad. Any tips on staying productive? Have you ever lost a staff member that you were heartbroken about? All the time. Many. And it will never change. Happens all the time. How do you deal with traveling stress? How do you deal with traveling stress? Like this right here, delay. If I can't control it, I try to control it and ask if there's another flight to go on. If not, I have zero control over it. Like literally, what am I going to stress out about? Stuff I have no control over. That's the fastest way to contribute to more therapy sessions, and I don't want to help the therapy business blow up. If that makes any sense. Robert, how you doing? Okay, let's see. How you found your vision, Pat. How I found my vision. It has a lot to do with how I lived my life. So I read a book once called Leaderless Revolution, written by a British diplomat. Okay? Not really a good book, but there was one chapter that really impacted me. And he told all these stories about what he was going through, et cetera, and says sometimes, you know, when you think about how revolutions are started, they're started based on 3 different elements. One is people who decide to do something about things they love, things that bother them, and things they hate. He said typically the biggest revolutions are started by emotions human beings have by things they hate. Okay, not just things they love, but things they hate. Because you've heard the saying before, whatever you don't hate, you learn to tolerate. Most people don't hate their financial situation. They just don't like it. Because if you hated it, there's no way in the world you would tolerate it. No way in the world you would tolerate it, because you would move. So you don't hate your financial situation, you just don't like it. Those who change hate their financial situation, so they eventually change. So for me, I grew up in a family that half were communists, the other half were imperialists. I lived in Iran, dictatorship, you know, the whole 9. And we finally left. I hate games. I hate when, companies like CNN, Fox, and MSNBC, they divide America because that's how they make money. Remember, the only way Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN makes money is when Democrats and Republicans hate each other. The more they hate each other, the more money they make. It's very simple. So the masses in America are manipulated very easily. Very easily. Just get up there, CNN, and talk smack about Trump, and Fox get up there and talk smack about Hillary and Obama. And everybody gets glued. Oh my God, did you see what happened? And they keep getting advertisers and advertisers and advertisers and advertisers. I don't like manipulative people. I don't like manipulation. I don't like games. I've never liked them, and I read people who are like that. So my vision became clear when I realized so many different governments like to use the F word, the 4-letter F word. You know exactly what it is, called free. And through that 4-letter F word, they get people to give up their dreams in exchange for a $1,000 welfare check. They exchange it for Section 8, or they exchange it for all this other stuff. My goal isn't to help that person increase minimum wage in their state to $15. My goal is to help you increase your minimum wage to $250,000 your income, so you don't ever have to rely on the government. So for me, Vision got very clear in March of 2009 when I had dinner with a man named George Will. And after that night, my stomach has been on fire in ways I can't shut it off. And so that's why I talk about capitalism and entrepreneurship as much as I do. Hopefully that answers your question for you. What do you do when someone who has potential but lacks hunger? Is there a way to bring out their hunger factor, or just go to the next person? Sandra, I will explain you a different way. The two things, leaders have two responsibilities, right? One of them is what? Your example. A great leader has a great example. And number two, great leaders know how to get other people to do things that they wouldn't do on their own. Sandra, you got to work on your leadership skills, because if you can't get people to move, that means you're not asking the right questions. That means you're not tugging their heart. That means you're not moving them. You're not inspiring them. You're not challenging them. You're not doing all those things combined together. Maybe your timing is off, and it's got to come from here. You got to take that effort and see what it is that you're doing to help take some people to the next level. Now, there is a small majority that just no matter what you do, you can't move them. But I would rather bank on me improving my leadership skills and knowing that I can move and inspire other people, rather than saying all these other people are not hungry and they lack drive. Hopefully that answered the question for you. Ricky Ontiveros, how you doing? What are 3 factors for holding a sales team accountable? Data, 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 Mike. I love data. Okay, you need a lot of data. I'm a data guy. Let me see if I have data here with me. Do I have data in my? I have a bunch of data right now. No, I have data in my luggage. Listen, I'm all data. Matter of fact, let me see if I got it. I don't know why my back all of a sudden. Okay, let me see what I got here. Hang on one second. I'll show you how I look at data. Yep. Everywhere I go, I have data. Here we go. So this talks facts to you. Good. So check this out. This is all data that I have. Now, it's not going to make sense to you, but I'm a data guy. So you're asking me a question, I'm showing it to you. Okay, this is data to show which office runs the most profitable office. Okay? This data here breaks down every single ratio, percentage, quality of business, what they're doing on so many different measurable numbers. Now, this stuff is boring. No one likes this kind of stuff. No one likes to sit there and say, well, who cares about numbers and all this other stuff? I'm all about numbers, because numbers tells a story. If I'm able to look at your numbers, if you give me your sales flow the last 6 to 12 months, I can tell you a million different stories, and I pretty much know exactly what's taking place with your business, seasons, how you are, what distracts you, what doesn't distract you. So Mike, biggest recommendation to you is have as much data to measure with your salespeople as possible, because that way you'll be able to give them direction of what areas to improve based on numbers instead of emotions or opinions, so they are willing to take your feedback because you're giving it based on proof. That's one thing. Anyways, I'll just stick to one. How rich are you? Rich enough. Pat, let Mario know we beat him to MD. Mexican Warren Buffett. I don't know who that is. Mexican Warren Buffett. Is that?
But I beat them to ownership.
Oh, wow.
But I beat you to ownership, bro.
That's a good point. Is it Mario and Sandra? I think it's Mario and Sandra. Always talking smack. Always talking smack. Larry, your drive, man. My cousin Michelle Harris is with a company. She had nothing but wonderful things to say about you. Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, let your cousin Michelle know that we kindly appreciate it. Rick Ontiveros, see you at the Driven event. Yes, cannot wait to see you guys there. One thing about Albert and Sil, we're just talking about him today while we were at, having a bite. They are so classy, man. Mario was telling me, who's the guy you were telling me about that from their team? Josh. Yeah. How world class he's, everything you've been asking for, being very accommodating. Cannot wait to see Albert and his team down there in LA here soon. How to find talent for my team? Are top agents made or born? A little bit of both. You got some people they got natural talents, but also I bank on how I lead and build leaders. If you do that well, you don't need to worry about finding the best talents all the time. You want to be able to find a talent, but the other part is having a system that also breeds and develops leaders. Like Popovich finds talent, but Popovich won championships because he had an incredible system. Nick Saban finds talent, of course, but Nick Saban attracts talent because he has an incredible system. He teaches other people. The better of a system you create on developing leaders, the more talent you'll eventually find. If you don't, why is the talent coming to work with you? That's also the other question. Why should a talented person work with you? Any tips on staying productive with OCD? I'm sorry, what'd you say? How do you get people to dream with you? 3 must-read books for sales. What is your dream or next goal? It's too big to tell here, but you will know about it in the next 2 years. I think 2 years you'll know about it. I think once everybody reads the fiction book I wrote that took me 5 years to live, you're going to look at me in a slightly different way. You may or may not like me. You may like me a lot more, and some of you may say, I can't believe Pat wrote that. So stay tuned for that. What book or audio are you listening right now? I'm listening to Anti-Fragile. It's the same guy that wrote the book. What is the book he wrote? Oh my gosh. Anti-Fragile. He also wrote a book called Skin in the Game. Unbelievable book.
Somebody just came through security, left behind a pair of Colacas sunglasses.
Wow.
Again, there was a pair of sunglasses left
Yeah,
behind
Nassim
security.
Taleb, phenomenal book. That's what I'm listening to right now. Do you think Kanye is a smart entrepreneur? I don't know if he's a smart entrepreneur, but Kanye is smart and extremely creative. My gosh, Kanye is creative. You know, I'd love to sit down with Kanye and interview him because I'd be asking him some questions that I don't know if a lot of people are going to be asking the questions that I'm thinking about asking him. So I'd love to interview Kanye. Okay. I just lost my version. I just lost my version of your Mario. I'm sad about it. Thoughts? I just lost my version of your Mario. My version of your Mario. What does that mean?
Someone that does what I do.
Oh, got it. Well, why'd you lose him? You know? Sandra says you owe her a baseball card. I don't know what that means.
Oh, I do.
Okay, my husband is a big thinker. He never stops. That's good. Yeroview. We got another Armenian in the house. As your 34 difficult personality video. Nice. Rula, will you ever interview Pitbull? Didn't we almost do something with Pitbull? We almost did something with Pitbull, right? We probably will. Pitbull's a phenomenal guy. In my opinion, he's a worker. I respect that guy so much with the amount of work he puts in. People like that, to me, I mean, I can't even describe to you how much I respect that, people like that. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. All right, let's go. Thank you for allowing great advice. I'm 24 entrepreneur. Got it. What is the one constant in your daily routine? How did you find out what you wanted to be? Took a while, asking a lot of questions. Private, but asking a lot of questions until I figured it out. I want to be wealthy and help my community in Africa. Go do it. What do you want to be? The question has stuck in my head. Yes, that's the question. Who do you want to be and what kind of a life you want to live? That's what you got to answer. How best can you market things like apps? I don't know what kind of app it is. That's a general question. Cannot help you. My hero, I aspire to be like you. Armando, thank you. Thank you. Motivation is garbage. It's needed, but I want questions. I want to go deeper. I like asking questions and going deeper on topics because that's how people get understanding. And once you have a different perspective on a topic, you will never be the same ever again. What is the biggest change you had to make in order to go yourself from 4 to 5 figures to 6 figures? You mean per month? I'm assuming you're asking to go from making 4 to 5 figures per month. I don't know, 4 to 5 figures to 6 figures a month. Are you asking like what I had to do to go from making 10 grand a month to making 100 grand a month? It's math. I mean, income is all math. So I had to figure out the formula and know what behavior I had to produce that produced the biggest exponential growth for my income. And once I figured out the math, then it was positioned. I had to go find the right people to make that happen. So it's a part of it. Look, here's what I talked about today at the meeting. I said there's 2 things to increase your identity, okay? One, in order to recruit yourself. One of them, you got to figure out your skill set that you need to improve in, okay? And that could be a lot of different things. The other one is you got to figure out your identity. Like, do you even think you're worth $100,000 of your income? Because $100,000 a month income. Because I've seen a lot of people go from 10 grand a month to 20 grand a month to 40 grand a month to 100 grand a month, and then all of a sudden they drop from 100 grand a month to 20 grand a month because they don't believe they're worth it, and they lose it all. So you got to work on your identity to make yourself believe you're worth making that kind of money. Who's the most important person to hire when you're the only employee? Medvin, somebody just helps you out. Assistant, somebody basic that helps you out. So make a list. Medvin, here's a question for you. Listen to me very carefully. Crystal, listen. Make a list of all the behaviors you do. And right next to the behavior, like write $sign. This requires a person that makes $40 an hour. This is a requirement of somebody that makes $100 an hour. This is a requirement of someone that makes 10 bucks an hour, 15 bucks an hour. Anything that's under 20, hire somebody else to do it. Anything that's $100 an hour for the amount of money you want to make, you got to do it, or whatever that dollar amount is. So the middle, the low, hire somebody help you do it. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, how do you best market something like an app? I think I answered that question already. Once you get to $10,000 a month, how did you find your vision? Oh, I'm all the way at the top. Let me go all the way to the bottom. So I'm seeing some of the questions twice. Pat, I'm a senior in high school, grade, but not sure what to pursue. Advice. You know, I would tell you at this point, just try to ask yourself a lot of questions, what you don't like, what you like, what you don't like, and go, you know, see some places on their workflow and what they do. But if there's one thing I will tell you, at that point to go out there and learn is go learn how to sell. Honestly, go learn how to sell. No matter what you decide to do in your career, you're going to be selling. So whether you become a lawyer, you're going to need to learn how to sell. Whether you decide to become a real estate person, you need to learn how to sell. Whether you decide to be a technology person, you'll need to learn how to sell. So selling is a skill that'll pay you in ways that words can't describe. So go learn how to sell at that age. How can we prepare for the next market crash? It's a great question. How can you prepare for the next market crash? One, I don't know how old you are. I will tell you one thing here, that there's going to be a crash. That's inevitable. In America, it typically happens every 5 to 10 years. Every 10 years, we have a big one. Every 5 years, we have a subtle one. Now, it's always going to come back up. Sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes 2 years, but it always comes back up. When the '08 crash happened, everybody was afraid. It went down to $6,700. Right now, it's $26,500. $26,500 Dow Jones. So it came back up. So if some of your investments are long term, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I would definitely keep some cash out free, because we're going to experience something in the next 2 to 4 years. We have no idea what's going to happen. If Trump sticks around, if he doesn't stick around, the moment Trump is out and an Elizabeth Warren comes in, market's going to tank like never before, because regulation goes up. The moment regulation goes up, businesses no longer hire and keep their money in the flow as much as they can. Right now, regulation's going down. The more regulation goes down and is eliminated, the more free enterprise is allowed to compete for themselves. So if you make a mistake and you don't do it right, you're out of business, that's fine. But when Elizabeth Warren gets elected, or somebody like that gets elected, and they're campaigning, like Bernie Sanders talks about free college, Elizabeth Warren talks about, you know, we need to regulate everybody and everything, things are going to change. So you got to be ready for that. What keeps you motivated on a daily basis? Vision and history. Vision and history. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 or 20 years? I don't know if I'm going to share it in here, but I will soon. I will soon. Here's what I will see myself doing for the rest of my life. You are going to see me sharing the concept of capitalism and entrepreneurship for a very long time to come. That part's not going to stop, and it's going to be international is what's going to happen. So are you going to Driven? Yes, I will be speaking at Driven, so I am looking forward to it. Does networking actually make a difference for income growth? 100%, but it depends who you are networking with. That's the part. Depends who you're networking. You might start a business. Any recommendations about wine marketing? What is your why? Any advice how to find your own, Pat? Do you have money invested in Forex industry? I do not. iPad question, you changed my views on life question. I've invested everything and more into a business. How did you push through when starting your business knowing you were broke? Sales, simply sales. Focus on sales. Whatever I could do to sell, that's what I'm doing. Sales, sales, sales. Once I got sales up, and from there, I had breathing room to be able to go after the next idea, what I wanted to do. How do I get under your wing and learn? I think at this point, what I would say is just study all the content that's on Valuetainment. That'll give you plenty of stuff on what's going on, and maybe one of these days, we'll do something together. Pat, is taking a loan the first person a good idea? I don't recommend it. I like cash. This is what I like. I like for you to go save $500,000 and I'm being serious. I like for you to go save $100 million, and I like for you to go out there and save $500,000 from working in sales in different places, and then start the business. I'm not a fan of loans. I have a friend that's in so much debt right now, he doesn't know how to get out of it because he kept borrowing money from people constantly. What are your thoughts regarding Musk's Tesla stock shutting down by 10% after you smoke weed? A blunt on podcast. Well, first of all, I don't know how to describe this to you. A guy like
Pamela Schofield, please meet your party at the arrival escalators in the main lobby. Pamela Schofield, please meet your party at the arrival escalators in the main lobby.
So one, the public has the right to say, screw you, Elon. You make us feel uncomfortable when you're smoking weed. We feel you're unstable. Okay? That's one. Now, Elon Musk lives in America. He can choose to smoke weed with Joe Rogan if he wants to. 2. 3. Joe Rogan's board, not Elon Musk's board, if they're not comfortable with him, they can choose to fire him. That's 3. So America said, we don't like you smoking weed on TV. That was very obvious, 10%. His investors are not happy. His board is not happy. So we'll see what's going to take place. But he had to make a choice for himself. Do I smoke weed? You don't want me smoking weed. Okay. By the way, I don't drink coffee. I don't smoke weed. I don't like a lot of things that make me change my state. I have in the past, but I don't smoke weed. Okay, what's the best way to deal with anxiety and depression? Stephanie, I made a video about that. You can actually type it just like that on YouTube and watch it. It's like a 20, 30-minute video. It's a good video to watch. But I'll give you one basic thing here since you brought up depression and anxiety. You know, there's a lot of things. Sports team, Benjamin, LA, Lakers. I mean, that's the best organization ever. Well, let's talk about anxiety and depression. Very simple. Remember this. Anytime you feel depressed, you're thinking about the past. Anytime you get too much anxiety, you're thinking about the future. Just remember that formula for the rest of your life. I'll say it one more time. When you feel depressed, you have to pause and ask yourself, oh my gosh, I'm depressed. What am I thinking about? 99% of the time, you're thinking about thoughts in the past. Mistake, X, whatever. Anytime you start having a lot of anxiety and panic, oh my gosh, your heart, like it feels like you're having a heart attack, and your pause becomes sweaty, you're too much focused on the future. It's not easy to do. You got to try to do your best to stay as much in the now as possible. And again, it sounds easier than, actually doing it, but that's what I would suggest for you to be thinking about. Pat, I love you, man. Love you too, brother. Love you too. Angel Martinez, best advice for 14-year-old entrepreneur, go learn how to sell. Go learn how to sell. Learn how to sell. What's the best way to grow into a new territory as a new agent? Get in the market and shake a lot of hands. Truly. Get in the market and shake a lot of hands. Get in the market and network and build relationships. Everywhere you go, pick 10 restaurants that you go to and make sure all of those restaurants know you by your first name and the manager knows who you are. Every time service is over with, ask, Mary, can I see the manager, please? Manager, yes, please. Mary goes and gets the manager. When the manager comes over, if Mary did a great job, tell the manager, John, look, I don't know what you do here, but I just want to tell you, John, your training is incredible here because Mary's service was impeccable. So I just wanted to applaud you for a great job you just did. It was incredible. I know sometimes, most of the time when a customer calls a manager to come over, people complain. I just wanted to tell you you're doing a fantastic job. So, and then walk away. Next time you come there, food's probably going to be free and everyone's going to treat you royally. Now you have a relationship built. And then from there, slowly but surely, they're going to ask you what you do. And then you know what they do. And then you start networking and somehow you start doing business together. Do that with everybody. Everywhere you go to do that. Person that shakes the most hands ends up winning. Love your work, bro. Thank you. Awesome advice. Great. Data analytics, a good major. Eli, you just asked me a question if data analytics is a good major. You guys know how I feel about college education. Everyone knows how I feel about college education and degrees. I am absolutely all for data analytics. Predictive analytics even more. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, but if my son wants to go to school to learn predictive analytics, I will fund it all day long, especially if he's good in math. Everything moving forward is going to be predictive analytics. Everything moving forward is going to be predictive analytics. Sports is all predictive analytics today. Everything about sports is predictive analytics today. Everything. Investments is all predictive analytics. Real estate is predictive analytics. Olympics is predictive analytics. Everything we do is predictive analytics. Online, keyword advertising, digital marketing is predictive analytics. You are gonna be needed. I'm always looking to hire predictive analytics guys. That's how much I love predictive analytics guys. So yes, absolutely, all day long. You rock, thank you. Rich Dad, Pat the man, my man. That's a quote to save. The person that shakes the most hands ends up winning. Yes, matter of fact, Mario, text that to me. What do I think about Shopify drop shipping? Sure, great, do it. I don't think I have a lot of things to say. I like businesses that have to do with people, teams, building, all that stuff. Some people like to have, we have an online, we use Shopify all the time, but yeah, you can make some money doing that. What's good, B? Life is good, man. Pat, what's a smart high-income job for a skill to pursue right after high school? Caleb, sales. Go sell. Pick a product you believe in. Pick an industry you believe in and go sell it. Go sell. Sales is the way to go. What exactly should I be doing as a 16-year-old? Focus on high school. Do what you're doing in high school. Build relationship, but sell something in school. I used to go to school in two backpacks until my principal finally figured it out because the teacher thought I was like great in school. And I'm like, I was not great in school, but I had two backpacks. And eventually they figured out one of my backpacks was filled with hats. And I would buy hats from 99-cent stores. And it was all the teams that were doing terrible. So Mighty Ducks, they weren't winning, like San Jose Sharks. Clippers had like all these terrible teams' hats at that time. Like Clippers had Danny Manning. None of you guys will remember who Danny Manning is. And if you do, you're showing your age, just so you know that. So I would buy these hats for 99 cents. I would sell it for $7. Go sell something. Learn how to sell right now. If you go to school and your teacher or principal doesn't get upset at you selling something, you're not selling enough. You got to go sell stuff. Now, I'm not talking about selling weed or selling all the other stuff. I'm not telling you that. I'm talking about selling something legitimately, something that you can sell there. So, I run the school clothing store. There you go. I sold cigarettes in high school. Not the best idea at 15, but it gave me some insight. Cigarettes is like, I guess it is what it is, but man, I cannot stand cigarettes to save my life. Your opinion on the book Think and Grow Rich. Georgia Tefanis. I have high opinions on that book, but I like the other book he wrote even better, Laws of Success. Just don't sell your soul. Yes, I know, man. Sincerely, Nikki. Nikki, you got all these people smoking cigarettes? Like, they should do a documentary about you, you cigarette dealer. You? Now we know Nikki's a cigarette dealer. What do you think about the book, The One Thing? Phenomenal. And I respect the CEO a lot, the guy who wrote it. Guy's a genius. Gary Keller. Don't just read the book once, read it multiple times.
12 minutes.
12 minutes, we're boarding? Okay. Everybody, let's take a break and give Mario some love so he doesn't feel lonely. Just say, how you doing, Mario?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Life is good, Mario.
Life is very good.
Give us 3 tips about living a happy life. What would you say?
Love yourself.
Okay.
Be around good people.
All right.
Love what you do. Basically, live my life.
Everybody's saying, hey, Mario, look at you.
Look, you got to find a good mentor like I did. That's a very big part of living a good life.
Is your mentor always serious, or do you have fun with your mentor?
I have one of the most serious mentors you've ever met in your life, except for Monday through Sunday.
Mario, when I was mentoring you, what's the one topic I spoke to you about the most?
Sex.
No, be serious.
Sex.
How many times?
All the time, every day, every week. Being very careful. Decision making.
He's actually not kidding about that, but okay. Let me stop with Mario before he says any other things to you.
Being too honest.
Sincerely, Nikki. Okay. All right. I've got 5 more minutes with you before I go board on this here. Should I go to college? I'm 16 and I'm not sure. Tony, you need to read the book Drop Out and Get Schooled. Go read the book Drop Out and get schooled. Take the quiz in the book. Based on that, make a decision whether you want to go to college or not. Patrick, what's your opinion on public education system? Would you improve it if it could be? Oh my gosh. What does that sound? Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, we're in casino, so we're Lake Tahoe. For people are playing casino. I can't stand the current educational system. The most important topics that need to be taught are not being taught. Some of the biggest decisions that you make in life, they're not teaching those decisions in school. It's pathetic. Like, think about it. What are the biggest mistakes we make in life when we make decisions? What are you going to go? Water? Double shot of tequila.
Double shot, okay.
Okay, you almost caught me. You're thinking like, water's good. Yeah. So think about the biggest decisions that people make after high school and college, and that we don't really know what we're doing. For instance, marriage. How many times do people screw it up the first time? Think about it. People get married and it doesn't work out. It's a pain in the ass. Why do you even get married? But no one teaches us how to get married. Think about it. No one knows who to marry and how to marry. Next, taxes. People have no clue what's the best positioning to pay the least amount of taxes. They just say, well, you should pay taxes. Well, what's the least amount of taxes I can pay to position myself? We don't talk about that. We don't talk about voting. How do you vote? People don't know how to vote, everybody. I vote Democrat because I'm black. I vote Democrat because, we're from the Middle East and we're Armenian. Armenians vote Democrat. I vote, Democrat because I'm, such and such. Or I vote Republican because I'm conservative from the Christian church and all. I vote Republican because my family's from military. Well, why do you vote either one of them? Teach us voting. And not voting being taught from one side of the aisle. Teach it in a way by bringing a Democrat and bringing a Republican, let them debate. Let them debate. There's a lot of things that, I have a list of them. I wrote a list of it the other day, but I don't have it with me right now. But those are just few items. I would spend a lot of time talking about those things. I'd spend a lot of time teaching people how to sell. I would teach people how to sell from 6th grade. From 1st grade, if you came to our school, you'd be starting a side business. We would have a class specifically for you to start a side business. Kids would come to our school with the intention of starting side businesses from 1st grade. And I'm not talking about, hey, go and buy some of these cookies and those cookies that they do. No. You're starting a business. You are starting a business from 1st grade. Every class, every year from 1st to through 12th, there's an entrepreneur class. Why is there an entrepreneurship class? Because the number one benefit they offer in America is capitalism. That's it. Okay? What do you think about Psycho-Cybernetics? Incredible book. Maxwell Maltz is a great author. That book sold 30 million copies. Anyways, those are some of the things I would tell you. An Offer You Can't Refuse, another good book. I was just with Michael in Vegas a couple days ago, and I had a chance to sit down with Oscar Goodman, the 3-time mayor of Vegas and the #1 attorney for all mobsters since 1964. He was the attorney for Tony Spilotro, Jimmy Charja, I can give Meyer Lansky. Some of you guys may not know Meyer Lansky. Anyways, sat down with him, and we had an interesting sit-down together. Pat, as an entrepreneur, should we build our own personal brand like you? 100% you should. Absolutely. People want to know who you are. People want to know, what you stand for. People want to know what you stand for. Pat for president. I can comfortably tell you I wasn't born in America, so that, if that changes, I'm going to help a lot of people become presidents, but not this guy. Best advice to get the girl that you like. Wow. You really want some advice tonight, huh? Best advice to get the girl that you like. So, I'm actually going to give you real feedback on how to get the girl that you like. And this is I should charge you for this. So here's how you do it. So get a board like this, okay? And write a circle with her name in the middle. Around her, find out who are the people she respects and likes the most, okay? So this could be a friend, it could be a teacher, it could be a mother, it could be a father, it could be an uncle, an auntie, grandma. Make a list, okay, of all those people. Find ways to get them to love you and like you. Do any favors for them. Go out of your way to help them. Send them gifts. Show them a good time. Make them laugh. Make them like you. So then you are penetrating from the outside, and then they bring up your name and say good things about you. And when they bring up your name and they say good things about you, She is now hearing from 5 people that she likes and respects the most how amazing you are. Now you seem interesting because the people that seem the most important to her, they like you now. So that's one of the strategies. I'm not going to go a little too deeper because then I'm going to get in trouble on why I know this kind of stuff pretty good. So hope that gets you, I was going to say a different word, but hope that gets you a girl. All right, look, I'm going to go before this phone dies here. Had a really good time with you guys tonight. What is today, by the way? Friday? I was hoping to land a little earlier so I can go to Rafi's place. But I don't know if I'm going to land early. Apparently there's a delay. If I land by 9 o'clock, how long do you think it'll take from LAX to Glendale? Anybody knows how long it's going to take from LAX to Glendale? Friday night? I'm thinking 45 minutes. 45 minutes or something like that. But we'll see. Anyways, good to spend time with you tonight. Much love to you. Again, take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.